Morning, guys. One question this morning. Who messes with Source? Who does that? Who messes with the Guardians? Okay. No one does. These dark ones can't touch them. They cannot touch Source, and they cannot touch the Guardians, because their vibrational correspondence is so much higher than what these dark ones have. The dark ones can't touch it, and they want you to think that they're all powerful, and they're fucking not. They're not all powerful, guys. Not at all. They want you to think they have everything by the balls, and they don't. Okay, so what are you connected to? That's the question. What are you connected to? Are you connected to Source? Are you connected to the Guardians? And I'm not talking about by association. I'm not talking about association here. Well, I've done the techniques, and I've done this, and I've read this. Yeah, you want a cookie? No, seriously though. I'm not trying to be a smartass. I'm just trying to drive a point here. Do you have? Are you truly in your heart, in your core? Okay, in your whole being, connected to Source, connected to the Guardians, connected and integrating, okay, integrating with that vibrational correspondence. What are you corresponding with Source? Are you, and the Guardians, or are you in a low vibrational state? What state are you in? Are you truly connected to Source? Are you integrating with the spirit of the teachings of KS? Okay, to be integrated and begin to embody the spirit of the teachings of KS. It's not what you know, it's what you live. It's what's a part of you. Is what the Guardians what the Guardians are teaching us through our speaker Aisha, is that you? Are you integrating and doing the inner work by healing, taking away your wounds and blockages, and integrating with the spirit of those teachings to let it flow through you? Okay, because no one cares about what you know. No one cares about how long you've been in it. You could have been in it 20 years and not embody, and not, maybe not have embodied these teachings. Okay? There are people out there that know these teachings, and they're no further along now than they were then. Okay? Facing multiple attacks. And being harassed. Who harasses Source? Who harasses the Guardians? And I'm not condemning anyone here. I'm not judging anyone here. I look at myself. I look on my own plate, but I'm very passionate about this. And I'm just encouraging you guys, encouraging you guys to examine yourselves deeper, because that's what I do every day. And I swear I do. And I'm not perfect. And I'm not saying these things because I'm perfect and because I'm trying to judge people. I'm not. It's in my own life, this is what I do. In my own life, I ask myself every day these questions. The things that I'm throwing out to you is the things I throw to myself. It's and if we still have wounds and blockages, and if we're not integrating with the spirit of the teachings, if we're not integrating with home, and begin to embody home, and everything that comes with it, man, those eternal life flows, that divine love, just the whole list that you can make. You guys know what the list is. Then why are we not doing that? What prevents us? Because I'll tell you what, the other side is not playing around. The other side is amping up their game. They are not playing around. And they do not care that you know anything about the eternal Christ. They don't care whether you know anything about techniques. They don't care whether or not you know anything about anything. They don't even care if you know what they're doing. They don't care. They're fine with that. If you know the details about what they're doing, they are fine with that. They don't care about that. It's okay with them. Okay? What they care about is that you stay wounded. What they care about is that you are not integrating and that you are not going through the embodying process, embodying home, embodying source, okay, to bring that in, to have your heart ignited like a wildfire that just pours out into the human collective, that shines out into the cosmos and says, I can't be fucked with. Because I am one with Source. I am one with Source. I have realized, and that you realize that separation from Source, from God's Source, is an illusion. It's an illusion. And now you're living it. And now it is your life. It is you. Okay? It's almost not enough. It's not enough to live something. Because it's well, you know, everybody's at a different stage of their journey. You know what I'm saying? And if you're beginning this journey of healing, eliminating your blockages and healing your wounds from within, and you're starting to live out these principles, that's fantastic, guys. That is absolutely fantastic. But don't stop. Don't stop there. It's great to start there and do it, man. That's fantastic. You're doing fantastic. I guess what I'm saying is don't ever stop where you're at. I don't care where you're at in your journey. Don't stop where you're at. Keep on going. Keep progressing, because stagnation is death. And if you stop for too long, you become, okay, this, that. No, it takes this pathwork that the guardians present to us requires focus. It requires a hardcore focus. Okay, it requires passion. It requires a heart. And I mean deep, a deep heart for this. So, in your own core, in your own spirit, okay, are you standing in the power of the Christ? Okay, are you standing in your power? Is that all integrated with each other? Okay, that energy exchange, right? Of the Christ, one blood, one mind, one life divine. That energy exchange, that I do that each day. I do that every day. And, and it's my way of reminding myself of who I am in Source and who Source is in me, because we are one, and yet I am me. I am Source, but I am me. Okay, I am a part of Source. I am connected with Source. Okay, and that has to be who you are, not just what you live. Okay, not just a list that you just happen to go by. Okay, that's good, but it has to go further than that. All of this has to be you. Okay, because honestly, it really is you. Because all things come from Source, and all life comes from Source. Okay, and then we keep moving, we keep leveling up, we keep moving up, we keep leveling up. And staying ahead of these dark motherfuckers, okay? Because that's what we need to do. If you want to be victorious. Because these guys are upping their game. And they're counting on you to hold on to your wounds. They're counting on you. Okay? There's certain things that they just count on humanity to do. And they do it. They do it. The majority of people do it. They fall for things every time. They fall for every trauma. They fall for every catastrophe. They fall for every lie that there is. As long as it looks real, they fall for it, instead of grabbing a hold of who they are in their core instead of healing and removing those blockages and grabbing a hold of the power that they hold from within themselves and having their hardcore essence ignited by source, okay, instead of standing strong and firm in that, they'd rather flip-flop around like a fish out of the water. And we cannot flop around like fish out of the water, because that right there is what these vampiric assholes are looking for. Okay, you got to stand in your power. Forget fear. Fear is an illusion. Fear is based on lies. When you live within your core and you are embodying what the guardians have taught us, you embody that spirit, which is source. You embody that power. You embody that love and that grace. You embody all, everything that comes with all that, and you start embodying its wisdom. It goes on and on, guys. When we embody source, we embody its wisdom. We are instruments of its grace. Okay, the flows go through us, and that wisdom runs through us, right? Like with the prayers, that's a prayer of embodiment. It's a prayer teaching us on what embodiment looks like. That's just one aspect of the prayer, in my opinion. And then here we are. Then after, then with all of that, we co-create in harmony each day with Source. Think about that, co-creating in harmony each day, one with Source, in harmony, in alignment. Okay, with one heart, with one soul, with Source. Okay. So, the other side is not playing around. They are not playing around at all. They mean business. And we cannot be lax about anything. We cannot be lax about anything. This is an unseen war. And if you are lax about anything, you severely underestimate the seriousness of this war. And here's the thing. When you severely underestimate the seriousness of this invisible war, you underestimate, in my opinion, you in a sense underestimate and devalue somewhat the teachings of the guardians. Okay. And maybe some people would disagree with me on it. That's okay. I'm not the authority. I'm not the authority on any of these things. Okay, I'm just trying to encourage you guys. That's it. And to be lax about it and to be nonchalant about things is not a good thing. You are setting yourself up. Okay, that's compromise. And some people say, well, what you're talking about, that's idealistic. That's fine. Very few do that. Not many do that. So, well, whose fault is that? Whose fault is that? And who's setting themselves up for what? The people who aren't taking it seriously. So what? What's your point? So what if all these other guys, most aren't really doing that. Most don't, they're not going to go that far with it. Well, what about you? What about you? What do you need to do? Well, I'm going to take that same road. Well, okay, that's fine. But here's the thing. I'm not, that's your choice. You have that right to make that choice. And I'm certainly not going to condemn you for it. I'm just saying there's consequences for everything that we do not do as well. There's consequences for what we do, and there's consequences for what we do not do. And then if something is riding your ass, okay, and it's not only riding your ass, but it's trying to control you, you can't sit there and boo-hoo about it. You have to sacrifice yourself to yourself. There's no choice. I don't care what your contract is. I don't care what you claim your path is. I don't care. You have to sacrifice yourself to yourself and reclaim your power and your birthright on this planet. Because the earth has, and that's what failsafe is, it's now ascending. What are you doing? What are you going to do? Okay, are you taking this seriously? Earth is. And I'll tell you, these dark ones want you to think that they have the victory, and they don't. They've already lost, and they're going to space dust. They're going to space dust. That's what their end is. And anybody who works for them, you're just a fucking tool. You're just their little tool, and they're going to eat you alive someday too. You're not immune to anything. Okay? You're not immune to anything. And as a human being, to take yourself back as well is something that you must do if you do not want their end for you. Okay? So anyway, how steady and strong are you in your spirit, you know? And we can all be stronger. I'm always striving to progress. I'm always progressing, always striving to progress. I'm always asking for wisdom and seeking wisdom from Source and the Guardians. To do those, to amp my plasmas every day. Okay, and to say the prayers every day. And it is extremely empowering. It's very powerful, guys. And it can keep, and you do that every day, every single day. And if you have to do it multiple times a day, you do it just to keep your focus until, to help you integrate more with everything, to help you embody a deeper embodiment, to master yourself, to, again, sacrifice yourself to yourself. And if there's anything that is lax within you, if you're flopping around the seashore like a fish, if you're always wavering and you feel lost and you're not really, you're not really sure-footed, you're not really grounded on that ground, okay, and you're not standing firm, where if a hurricane comes in, you're not even, you're standing there strong. You might bend a little bit there and bend a little bit there, but you're holding your ground, and your grounding and your protection and the love that protects you, which is the highest form of frequency that the dark ones cannot fucking touch. They cannot do it. When you are in that place, there's nothing that can move you. There's nothing that can move you. And to be embodied, and to with Source, there's nothing. There's nothing like it. Wherever you are in that process, it's incredible. If you're at the beginning of that process of embodying Source, it's an incredible, incredible thing. And I have a ways to go, and I'm striving every day, and the new reality is here for me. Okay, and your whole focus cannot be the dark ones. You could be aware of what they're doing, and that's fine and dandy. But you know what? Fuck them. Fuck them, okay? Your focus has to be ahead. Your focus has to be your path. Okay, what the Guardians are teaching us, how they're leading us. And it can operate differently in every person, but the result is going to be the same. Okay, it's because everybody operates differently, in the way they process things and how their walk is. So that's why the inner work is important too, to get to know who you actually are. What spirit took on the body that you have? Who is that person? How does that spirit operate? How does that spirit process things? And that spirit is you. How do you process things? That's why people cannot do the inner work for you. They can't tell you certain things. They can't tell you how to do certain things. There's some things that cannot be taught. There's some things that you just carry within yourself. And whatever that is that's within yourself, okay, that knowledge, you have to go on that. And that knowledge is, how do I process things? Why do I do the way I do? What are the wounds that I'm carrying personally? No one can tell you that. That's why the inner work is so indispensable. That has to be done. It cannot be exchanged for anything. All right. For victory over all of this stuff that's going on, and to move forward, and so that the upgrades, okay, and the teachings, the spirit of what the guardians show us, and source, all these things and all of its attributes and everything that comes with that the goal is that becomes you, not something that you follow, but or not something that you just kind of work with, but that it becomes you. And as the Declarium says, if I'm thinking of the right part of of that whole thing that you do there, the only divine eternal truth is unity with Source, being one with Source. That is the only the eternal divine truth. That's what it is. So what does that mean? Okay, what does that mean? So everything that you are and everything that you need is in your connection with Source. Everything is within you. And since you are a piece of Source and you are not separated from Source, okay, you might have cut yourself off from those flows through your wounds and through your blockages. But that's why the inner work is indispensable. You have to reconnect. You have to reconnect with that. Okay, and be a living conduit of that place here on earth. All right? So, strengthen yourselves. Strengthen the feeble knees and stand. Because you have that power from within yourself. Okay, as you heal. Do not let up. Focus. And even when I rest, a time of rest is a time to process, to kind of let things soak in, to work with things and understand things and kind of examine things, from a place of rest. Rest doesn't mean that you do nothing. Rest is just, in a sense, just kind of like letting things flow, Yeah, you're pushing and pushing other times, and you're progressing, and you're striving, and you're focusing hard on this. But sometimes you sit down, and you're like, okay, let's let all this stuff sort itself out. Then let me just, And sometimes it's watching a bullshit TV show. Sometimes it is doing nothing for a little bit. I don't know, but in your core, you're really not. You're really not giving up that work. You're processing it. Always be aware of, you want to become aware of yourself from in here. And aware of your connection and have that fire burning within your heart. And purge. Okay? So anyway, that's what I have to say today. Just stand in this. Stand strong in your core, guys. Stand strong. Don't be flopping around. Strengthen yourselves. Stabilize yourselves. That pendulum swing has got to find rest. The more you swing to this end and this end and this end, you're like, oh shit, now what do I do? Oh fuck, what do I do here? Okay, and that's easy to get into. I'm not condemning anyone for that. Okay, and it's an easy place to be because this is a war. This is a war, and it's easy to, if you're not in a certain spot, it's very easy to become overwhelmed with everything that's going on with you and everything that's going on around you. It really is. And in the past, I've been caught up in my own whirlwind until I learned how to master it more. So, I'm not condemning anyone. I'm just saying, just be aware where you're at. And then know where you need to be. This is where I'm at. I have to be here. I have to, that pendulum swing has to be stilled to find balance. Okay, to find balance and journey within and heal and remove those blockages and find that inner world from within yourself, that inner temple and then in inner temple, you get into that zone, you get into that 0 point, and that's where you meet everything. You know, so that's where you meet yourself. That's where you meet everything. Okay, all unmanifested creation and creation itself. You can sit in that spot and overview everything from up here. You got to operate from the internal, not the external. Okay, to have your life hidden inside of internal creation, to live your life from internal creation. That's a place of power. That's a place of strength. That's a place of peace and stability. That's a place of immovability. I don't care what anybody tells you. That's what that place is. That's a place where you can drink from the well of wisdom, that those eternal life flows. You can drink from the crystal river. You can soak yourself up in the plasma rays, and to build up your plasmas, you get into that 0 point, and you get into that place, and you just have that deep communion of fellowship with home. That's the 0 place. That's that 0 point. That's that inner temple in there, and that light can be blinding, and it can burn anything around it, that's not of it. Okay, and to be what that is, and we really are in our essence, deep down with that hardcore essence ignited. We become that. We are that. Okay. You open up those books without words within your inner temple, within that sacred place. You are sacred. Okay. You are sacred, and that zero point within yourself is very sacred. That's where we learn. That's where we become empowered. That's where everything happens. Everything happens there. You go into that place of internal creation with a deep reverence and a seriousness, and yes, with joy and with humor. Okay, you can have joy and humor and goof around. Me and my inner circle, there's times we laugh so hard we're in tears. We are literally in tears, but we talk about some really deep stuff. We talk about deep stuff. We bat things around, and we encourage each other. And by the time that meeting's over with, you're just floating. You're just floating out of there. And it's not about the feeling, guys. It's about being empowered to stand. Okay? To dig deep and pull that out from your core, man. To get in connection. To be in connection with Source. To live that. To live the illuminate essence. To fucking live that out. You're shining it, and you're living it, and you're breathing it, guys. That's what we need to do. So, hey, peace to you guys. Just another word of encouragement. These days are rough. Things can get complicated, but when we get into that 0 point, we're in the eye of the storm, and things aren't so complicated there. Things simplify a lot there, and the confusion dissipates. And we see things clearly. That's where we also get our sight. We get that clear vision, that clear sight with things. And so this is all part of the inner work. So how people could say, and I've heard just a couple say that within the KS community, how can people say that the inner work is not necessary? Well, can I do this? Can I get away from the inner work and just do this? That's laziness. That's not wanting to get anywhere. That's not wanting to get anywhere. That's wanting something and someone to hand something to you. Okay, that's wanting something to hand. That's wanting someone to just hand this stuff to you, to do the work for you. And you know what? They can't. They can't do that for you. They can't learn for you. They can't realize things for you. And they can't eliminate your laziness for you. Okay, no one can do this for you. All right. So this is the pathwork, not of sheep, but this is the pathwork of wolves. This is the pathwork of the strong, of the overcomer. Okay, this is the pathwork that it takes some intestinal fortitude. To be able to endure the pain of the healing process and warfare. because that's what this is. And so we have to be grounded. Our roots are back home, guys. Our roots are back home. Our roots are not in this false matrix. My roots are back home, and that's where they're staying. That's where they're staying. And that eliminates all fear. Screw fear. Okay? Screw fear. And it's as simple as that. Right? You know, it really is. So, anyway, guys, I'll talk to you guys later. And I hope you have a wonderful day or a wonderful night, whatever it is that you're, whatever it is where you're at. So anyway, stay humble. Humility is key, guys, and not fake humility. I mean, come on, man. No, we just got to be real with ourselves and be humble and vulnerable. You know, with our relationship with home, with Source, and with the guardians, to be transparent, vulnerable, and humble. All right, and the dark ones say that that's weakness, but when you're in full connection with home, there's nothing they can do to you. They could try to wage warfare with you and all of that, but you have a power that they are not connected to. They have that power from within, and they'll say, "Oh, you don't know what you're talking about." Well, that's okay. That's all right. Because the dark ones are AI consciousness, and they've cut themselves off of the eternal flows, and they've cut themselves off of source wisdom, and they've cut themselves off of that true knowledge. Their understanding and their knowledge is limited, and that's just as simple as that. Okay? So, whatever. So anyway, again for the third time, I'll talk to you guys later. All right, bye.